Sébastien Bourdais, what the hell just happened? I mean, normally these days are a little bit exciting. First day of qualifying for the Indy 500, etc. There's a little bit of drama. This thing wore my monkey ass out.
It was a pretty roller coaster day, kind of, I guess, like somewhat of a typical Indy qualifying, but yeah, it never makes it feel like comfortable or normal. It's always unique, and people go through crazy emotions, massive downs, massive ups, and anywhere in between. So yeah, it's like you take the last run with VK and you're like, wow, you know, would have anybody put a penny on that happening, putting it in the fast 12 on the last run? 2 minutes to the end. It's
crashes in the morning, doesn't destroy the car, but he beat it up sufficiently well. Team gets it repaired, comes back out. There's no actual open practice time, so they say, well, go do a pretend qualifying run, but just kind of go slowly, make sure everything feels right, come back in, then we'll try and do a real qualifying run. They do.
Put it in the show.
They got 29th, which, again, not super safe, but okay. Normally this kid's front row, second row, and we're like, all right, what are they going to do? They say, all right, the hell with it. Let's do it. Basically, last run of the day, and the kid chucks it into the fast 12, P11. The kind of stories that we love. We're going to get to some real topics here in a moment, but I do want to stop first and just say, Fast Friday, no tow reports. Kiffin Simpson, driver you've been helping all year at Chip Ganassi Racing. I think he was like 32nd or something like that of the 34, was definitely ripe for not making it into the locked-in field 13th through 30th today. Definitely going to bed last night, looked like, oh, he might be fighting to get in that last chance qualifying. No, P18. Like, I realize it's not pole, but this kid put in a hell of a drive this morning right away. Tell us about that. Anyone who thought it was an easy out, not a chance.
No, it was not easy. I mean, hats off to him, because we definitely kind of put him in a bit of a tough situation, and we threw him in the deep end of the pool. Being a rookie yesterday wasn't really smooth. It turned a ton of laps, but then when we took our time trimming him out, and you know, by the time we had to kind of really try to be relevant with trims, then we had a bit of a mechanical issue, so that cut that short. Then this morning it did, you know, kind of a solid run, but the engine was brand new, so it was not super relevant again. And then we were going to go back out. Then there was another mechanical issue, so literally we trimmed him out for that first run and third in the draw, and he just held his foot down and made it happen. So
his dad David did the draw, so I bet there's going to be a bidding war for his qualifying draw services next year. All right, let's get into some of the main topics of the day. Chevrolet, hello, good Lord. Didn't know what the engine manufacturer battle was going to be like. It's always a question coming into the month of May. I don't really care how the early season went. We get here, we find out who's bringing what. Chevrolet brought all the horsepower. Team Penske in particular, 1, 2, 3, rockets. Aaron McLaren had a crazy day. We'll get to that in a minute, but Team Chevy, brother, they are bringing the heat. We spoke to Alexander Rossi about it real quick. Let's go to Alex.
Chevy's making our lives easy, and it's funny because I feel like the engine battle always goes in like 2 or 3 year blocks, right? And then it switches, and so I think we've been the preferred engine for a bit now, and so you're always wondering, like, okay, is this the year where it switches? And they took an even bigger step, so that's amazing when we talk about how old this engine is, and you think they've found everything, and they just keep busting their butts and deliver for us, and it just makes this that much more enjoyable.
And fighting Chevrolet, we have Honda, and Honda's been super fast on the pole the last 3 years. And if you put any of your hard-earned money, Sebastian, on bets on Honda being on pole again, I feel like you're probably not going to win. We're going to hear from Graham Rahal in a moment, and also Alex Palou, but surprised? I know I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. It's only about a mile-per-hour difference, but a mile per hour is a big thing around here, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the big step up is Penske, right?
Yeah.
So they were not really a factor in the last couple of qualifyings, and now they're right up there. McLaren was there last year, but it was a lot closer, I feel, with the Honda. So yeah, it's for sure surprising, but this is what this place is all about. Every year it's a battle, and people show up with the best stuff they can, and things have changed. Like there's tiny differences, but new gearboxes, a few different things. It takes so little to make it or break it. You think you're making an improvement, you show up, and then it's like, well, no, that was actually worse. So there's a ton of research, a ton of money being spent, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But everybody strives for improvements, and sometimes the enemy of good is better. So it's I think I don't have all the answers, but for sure it does seem a bit that way this year.
All right, let's hear from Graham and then Pelot, and then we're going to move on to our next little fun topic.
For sure, the Chevys are freaking fast, and it's making their lives a lot easier. If you look at the downforce levels that Ferrucci and some of these other guys can run and do the times they're doing, that's just not in the cards for us right now. And so we just got to keep our heads down. I think, the fourth lap for sure something went wrong with the overboost or plenum fire or something, but the other laps, it's just a shock. You just don't. I don't really know. So we'll go back and look.
I mean, there's no way we can find 1 mile an hour plus in the car. Maybe we can. I'll talk to the car face to face and see if she can get me a little bit more, but it's going to be tough.
Beautiful car,
I know. Match finish, I love it.
So everything came good for Aaron McLaren at the end of qualifying, Seb, but holy cow, it was a bit of a papaya orange dumpster fire for most of the day until it got good. I'm not laughing at him. It's just like, wow, I thought they were going to be solid from start to finish. Whether it was, I think, what do they call it, an engine event in Kyle Larson's car, which we think was another plenum fire. Pato O'Ward struggling. He had a engine event.
Well, he was stuck in gear as well, I think.
And that too. We had Callum Ilott chucked out of qualifying after his first attempt. The series and post-qualifying technical inspection said I think left rear wheel offset was too much. Ilott went out and did well, not as good as he could. Alexander Rossi was super quick. Pato went out and did decently, but not great. Looked like he was going to be towards the back. Then got into the fast 12. Kyle Larson was just really darn good and impressive. Not what I thought we were going to have, but they eventually came good. Tell me, within the Aaron McLaren camp, Kyle Larson, that guy, he's pretty good at driving race cars, right?
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously showing, all the talent he has. You put him in anything and he makes it happen. So
that's the impressive part. And I'm speaking to a guy who does that as well. Put him in anything and this guy's a rocket, but not everybody can do that.
Yeah,
Kyle's
but
part
NASCAR, dirt, open wheel, you name it. So I think his range is pretty wide. So
did he just say he's going to start dirt racing to be like Kyle Larson?
No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, like 4th, 10th.
We're cheating by looking at the pylon because we don't
6th
remember.
and 15th, so all the cars within the top 15. So yeah, I mean, definitely a pretty strong performance. But yeah, really, if you look at it, it's the 1, 2, 3 on the Penske side that really stands out.
They parked the struggle bus and got off of it. Everyone's doing okay. We're going to hear from Rossi talking about that a little bit. Then we're going to hear from Kyle Larson giving a little bit of a deeper dive about his day, because it's Kyle freaking Larson. The guy's really cool. Granted, you know everything technically about the cars, can tell you about what's happening with every little piece, every foot of every lap you turn. You ask Kyle, he just kind of shrugs like, I don't know. So the guy just goes balls out, can't really tell you much. A little funny aside, they're telling me that he's been sitting in on the full-length engineering debriefs, and I don't remember who, but someone asked, does he need to be here for all this? Because really, the guy just climbs in and goes like mad and doesn't need all this jibber-jabber about engineering stuff.
Well, I think if he had the plenum fire and he bailed out, he probably should have stayed in the meeting.
All right. You might have raised a great point there. But yeah, let's go to Kyle.
But yeah, no, I was happy with it. I didn't want to mess with any adjustments. I just wanted to keep my hands on the wheels and focus on making good corners. And yeah, the car had good speed, so I was happy with the adjustments that they made with gearing and all that. I think it paid off.
I know for any rookie coming into Indy 500, you want it to be smooth and simple. You've not had that at any time, whether it's rain, the first attempt that didn't go well. Tell me about processing all that. It's a very Indy 500 thing.
Yeah, I think that's something I didn't really, realize, with all the time that you get, I just thought it'd be like pretty easy, easy flowing. And whatever day that was, Thursday, I think, was not smooth at all for us and our team. Friday was the smoothest day that we've had, no weather interruptions or anything. And then, today with that first run, the issue there was surprising and obviously hurt our run. But thankfully that second run there went smooth and we're in the show.
Interesting day so far for the team. Callum coming back out, he's about to run again. Pato with speed we thought he would have but didn't. You qualified well, Kyle was quick. Been through a lot of these days, but tell me what it's like when the team's kind of two different places at the same time.
It's Indianapolis, right? Like you can't be shocked by anything around here. You can't be complacent. You can't think you've got it figured out. So we're just trying to adapt and roll with the punches, if you will. But I think we have 4 very good cars, and so where it gets stressful is you don't want to mess that up, right? So I'm happy with where we're at. It's really hard to know, like, ambient corrected. Are we off of the Penske's? Yes. Would we be closer? Maybe. I don't know, right? Because they were the benchmark yesterday as well. So we're kind of playing that game with, like, how much do we try and chase them, or would it have come to us had we gone early?
Okay, so I can't really ask you to talk about this too much because you got a Chip Ganassi Racing shirt. But hey, so I realized that Team Penske won this race last year with Joseph. Marcus Ericsson, when he was part of the team, was obviously vying to be able to win again. Chip Ganassi Racing here for most of the 2020s has been the dominant team. At least through qualifying, that has flipped for the first time in, I don't know, forever. We have no Ganassi cars in the fast kind of 12 fighting for pole. That's bizarre. We have Penske's a firm 1, 2, 3. I know Colton Herta, who we're going to hear from in a minute, was joking, I think, on the NBC broadcast yesterday about now that AJ Foyt Racing and Team Penske have a technical alliance, that Team Penske basically downloaded former Ganassi race engineer Michael Cannon and everything that made your team run super well into their team. He said he was joking, which I think he tells us here in just a second, but it really did happen. And just a bit of an inversion that wasn't expected. I'm not saying I expected Ganassi to be above Penske this year, but this is like a firm swapping of positions. So again, you can't say anything about that. But Alex Palou also tells us here a little bit about just a really unexpected dynamic where Ganassi so far hasn't been super competitive, at least in 4-lap qualifying trip.
It's been tough. It's been tough. As everybody that was expecting us to be up front, we always also wanted to be up front, and the team is coming from 3 poles in a row here at the 500. So we wanted to be there. We wanted to fight it. Unfortunately, we're missing speed. Still don't know where, but that's the truth. But
sharing comments talking about Penske's being much better. The kind of secret within the garage for a while is our friends at Foyt uploaded the entire Ganassi playbook. I think Mike Hull mentioned you spoke on that. You speak.
I made a joke about it, and yeah,
but
I think a lot of people took it a lot more serious than it was meant to be.
It's true, but tell me about that side, because you being comfortable saying what you think, I think is a great development.
It's interesting. I mean, it's hard to think that hurt them in any way. So, year to year, what's different? That's a big thing that's different there.
So it's end of Saturday qualifying, right? We have the 13th through 30th positions locked in. We have the 4 drivers going into the LCQ tomorrow, that being Graham Rahal. I feel bad for good old Graham. Marcus Ericsson and both the coin cars with Catherine Legg and Nolan Siegel. The Fast 12's locked in. You guys are done for now on the Ganassi side, but although today didn't give everything you'd hoped from super impressive outright speed, tell me about the racing side and getting the cars tuned up for the race, because I know that is actually what you guys care about the most.
Yeah, no, I think it could have been a little better for the Ganassi cars, and I really feel like Alex, had he had another chance to go out, he would have probably put in the Fast 12, but you also don't want to pull your time when you're sitting right there at the cusp of making it. So it's a tough decision. Obviously, there are points involved, so I'm sure that's the drawback. But I feel like there are some really good race cars. They've shown that most of the week, and I'm not too worried. Like they're in pretty solid and they're gonna work their way forward. But for sure, if you have a fast car, it's always easier. But not too worried about the race pace and the way the car interacts with others. It's still very solid.
Okay, so since all 5 of your Ganassi cars are locked in between 13th and 30th, and you guys aren't allowed to run tomorrow, are you going golfing? What are you doing? I got to be here working, but you want to go see a movie tomorrow night or something? What do you want to do?
I don't know. We got to
you
figure it
lazy
out.
ass.
We got to figure it out.
What is this guy doing?
But somebody's got to work. I mean, I worked all week. You didn't, so don't, you know.
Damn! Thanks, Bourdais. I love him so much.
It's all right.
No, I'm not going to beat you up. You're already French. That's bad enough as it is. All right.
French fry.
Yes, hamburger French fry show for Saturday at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, our first one, and we'll do one tomorrow. I'm going to ask you to comment on a lot of things you weren't involved in, but that's okay. And then maybe we'll do it again Monday. Are you going to be here Monday? You going home?
Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. We'll see.
Maybe. You need a manager. Ever since Wheeler became, strategist and whatnot in the 11 car, the 4 car, this guy is just free falling. You need a manager. You need a. Should I?
Are you,
no,
are
I
you,
shouldn't
are
do
you
that.
asking for a position?
No.
Definitely not.
No. Your career can't sink any lower. I can't do any more damage. All right.
That's a wrap.
Print and digital editions with an issue archive through 2012. Visit info.racer.com to learn more.